All right. Apologies, a little late getting on here. I feel so much better today. I'm feeling so much better today. Yesterday I was like hedging a headache the whole day and I was underslept. So last night I decided not to stream a game. So I apologize if I didn't stream a game last night, but I feel so much fucking better today. Getting like a good chunk of sleep. Plus my daughter decided not to wake up at like 6 or 6:30. She got up at 7:30. I was like, yes. It's nice waking up when like you don't feel forced to wake up. You kind of like wake up on your own accord and your body's like, I've had enough sleep. Let's get the fuck up. And I'm like, yeah. So I feel good. So we're working on challenges today. First one today is orange.
Challenges. In this chapter, we are going to practice applying the skills and concepts we learned while building Fantasy Quest. Number sum. Write a function called numberSumN that adds up all the numbers from 1 to n. For example, numbersum 5, 1 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5, 15. Numbersum 3, 1 plus 3 minus 6.
I know there's like an algebraic way to express. So sum is equal to a sub 1 plus a sub n divided by 2. A's not provided though. Austin, Texas. I don't fucking know you. I want the numbers in a sequence. Like an ordered sequence. This is just for like all the numbers in a sequence, I think. I know there's some function, but it's like... Do a counter. Like that. An int object is not iteratable. For numbers in range n. Is that how you fix it? So I'm printing 10 and 3 here. Oh, this is the fucking issue I was having yesterday. I was just printing the last line. Price equals. So my sum starts at 0, integer. For numbers in range of n, so whatever the input is. Add the numbers to the sum. Because it should be 3 plus 2 plus 1 should equal 6. And then 5 should be 5 plus 4 plus 3 plus 2 plus 1. But I'm printing 10. So I'm printing 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4. So I'm missing the last one. I'm printing 1 plus 2 here. So it's n plus 1. So now I'm printing the right number. So expecting 6, print 6. Expecting 6, print 6. So you could just loop through all the numbers in the n. So if n is like 100, for all the numbers in range of 100 plus 1, so 101, add the sum of each number. This really shouldn't be numbers. This should be number. I gotta be more careful about labeling my variables. But for number in range of n plus 1, take all the numbers from 1 to 100. Because you need 101 because the last number is exclusive. So it's going to exclude 101. So it's 1 to 100 then. And then you're going to sum all the numbers. The numbers get summed into... to get added into the sum variable. Return sum. Yeah, so for I in range of from 1 to n plus 1, I just said in range n plus 1. Because this is assuming that the sum is going to start at 1. So that's why they put 1. So it's like 1 to, for my example, 101. Sum I. Yeah, it's the same thing. It's just I use number instead of I. And then... mine assumes that it starts at 1, though. So I have to be careful with the start point. I just get... mine's just correct because it just happens to start at 1. But if we wanted to sum from the point of like 2 to 5, for example, and exclude the ones, then I have to write it as like 2 comma n plus 1.
Minimum number in Python. Assignment. Write a function called findMin that finds the smallest number in a list. FindMin 1, 3, minus 1, 2. Nice 1, findMin 18, 3, 7, 2, minus 2, positive infinity. Since you're trying to keep track of the smallest number, start with a really big number. Python has a built-in constant that represents positive infinity. Min equals float inf.
Alright, so min equals float inf. For num and nums, if num is less than min value, right? So it's a min variable, less than positive infinity. Then we want min to equal the num, right? Print min. Expecting -4. Because our minimum to start with is positive infinity. For numbers in the number set, if the numbers are less than the min, the current min, return, well then the minimum number is equal to the number. Else it does nothing, but it's not included in here. I could just say it like else. Like, technically I could say else pass, right? Oh, but it prints the pass. Returns the pass. So I don't want this. Oh, never mind. It means pass. It's passing the check, not pass the word. Okay. That was from a while ago. That was when we were working on like lists. Now I know why they want you to be on this like every day. That was like day 1 last week, I think.
Remove non-integers. Complete the remove non-ints function that takes a list and returns a new list with all the non-integer types removed. Remove non-ints 1, 3, 400, 4, 500. Remaining list after removing non-ints equals 1, 4, 500. You can check a variable's type using the type function. If type variable equals int, do not change the input nums list. Return a new list with only the integers.
Alright, so you can check a variable's type by using type function. If type variable is equal to integer, for num in nums, if type num is equal to an integer, remove the non-integers function that takes a list and returns a new list with non-integers. Then we need to add to a list. Remove non-ints. This just doesn't remove the... This will remove the strings, right? Because if I don't say anything about the strings... Can I type the word print? Thank you. I was like, fuck, man. It's not that hard of a word. If type num equals integers, nums dot append. This should be like integer. This is where I get like naming variables the same as functions and stuff like that, and I gotta be careful. So the integer list for num and nums, if the type num is an integer, integer list append the num integer list. Yeah, so I think what happened was I had nums from here as both a variable and a function, right? So if you type nums, oh no, it just comes up as a variable. X means it's a variable, right? Because what else is this? Blah, 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 blah. The else is taking care of the false and other string, the boolean and the string value. You know, so it's saying like, if it's an integer, do this. If it's anything else, fuck off, essentially. Fuck right off. I remember doing that. This is it shouldn't be challengers. It should be like member berries. I remember. Member berries, we did this problem. Do you remember how to do this? I remember. Oh, remember when we used to wear really baggy jeans? I remember. Ah, I remember. Fuck, member berries are old. Member berries are member berries of their own thing. I'm just gonna load because of my I have like 3 ad blocks.
Remember Bionic Man? Yeah. Remember Alex? Remember?
Oh, they're adorable.
Remember AT-ATs? Remember Bionic Man? Bionic Man's a little bit before my time.
Factorial.
Yeah, I remember.
Complete the factorial function. It should calculate the factorial of a number. A factorial of a number is the product of all positive integers less than or equal to that number. For example, 4 equals 4. 3, 2, 1 equals 24. Note, in
3, 2, 1.
mathematics, the ℕ symbol denotes a factorial, but is not used in Python. Tip, a special case for 0. The value of 0 is 1. This keeps factorials consistent with the convention for an empty product.
Zero exclamation is 1. This keeps factorials consistent with convention for an empty product. Alright. For I just want to see. For n and num. But isn't the factorial just it's n times n minus 1 times n minus 2? Basically, remember the last number is exclusive. So what the computer's going to try to do is going to try to multiply by 0. Is that why it's telling me that the special case for 0? Right, because we don't want the... We don't want the input number to be excluded. So yeah, +1. So that gives us the range from 1 to our number. Is there like a multiply function? So I can say multiply, or just use the multiply symbol. You can't do like multiplies equals, right? X multiplies equal is equivalent to x equals x times 3. I don't think that's what I want. $15. So what it's doing is it's taking factorial is equal to 0, because I set it equal to 0, 0 times n. That's not what I want. It's not the right operator. So it's 1 times the number, it returns the number. What is... Wait, I'm a little bit lost why this works. I guess I'm lost in like what exactly this operator is doing. I can ask after I submit the answer, but... Task failed successfully. So now I can ask Boot to be like, explain what the operator is doing online for. Oh, I haven't submitted mine. I see the code now. The operator on line 4 is doing multiplication for your factorial calculation. Let's break down what's happening. Factorial multiplication equals n is shorthand for factorial is equal to factorial times n, right? Each time through the loop, you're multiplying your running total factorial by the current number n. This is accumulating the product of all numbers from 1 to num. For example, if num is 4, factorial starts at 1. First iteration, n equals 1. 1 times 1 equals 1. Second iteration, n equals 2. Right, because it's going through the range from 1 to n plus 1. So factorial 1 times 2 equals 2. Third iteration, 3. So factorial 2 times 3 equals 6. Oh, it's setting the factorial value to 2. So then it's factorial times whatever the value of n is. So it's 2 times 3, which equals 6. It sets the value to 6. Takes the factorial, so factorial equals 6 times the next value of n is 24, and spit out 24. Okay, that's where I was getting lost. So when we run this in this loop, as we run it, the value of factorial is getting set to a different value every time it iterates through the range of numbers. Okay. And I just want to see if what they wrote is the same. Yeah, so I started at 0. It shouldn't have been 0. It should have been 1. And I think that was part of the tip. The tip was like, value of 0 is, yeah, it's 1. Okay. Ooh, my feet. My feet are cold. All right.
Area sum. Complete the area sum function. It accepts a list of rectangles, where each rectangle is a dictionary that has the following structure: height 5, width 6. The function will calculate the area of each rectangle, then sum them all up and return the result.
So we have to multiply the values in the dictionary. To get the area, because length times width is area of a rectangle. So we should calculate the area of the rectangle. The function will calculate the area of the rectangle, then sum them all up and return the result. So we're dealing with like multiple rectangles. Okay, so multiple dictionaries. I thought it was just one dictionary. Sum them all up and return the result is easy. So we're gonna do area is gonna be a dictionary. Area is a number for key in rectangles. Area we need to multiply the first two and then add But it should be able to handle multiple dictionaries, not just one or two dictionaries. Dude, my YouTube does not like the going through 3 ad blockers. It's all fucked up now because like I use Chrome and they don't have uBlock anymore. uBlock was like the best one. So I want to multiply even keys versus odd keys. In a loop. So let me just see what this will spit out. How do I write the position in the dictionary? So can I say like odd? Odds? Oh, it's not a function. No, my I keep what is it called? Freudian slipping. I keep, instead of saying Python, I type Python. Do I have to do like the modulo thing? To write if it's odd? If key height? Okay, so if we return the key height, no, this is not what I want to do. I think I'm getting a little in the weeds here. So key height. Eight times key width. That just gives us. What does this give us? Gives us nothing. For key and rectangles dictionary, area equals so the first one's right. Second one's wrong because it's only doing the expecting 56, actual 36. Why? It's only doing the last one in the series. And then 18 times 5. It's not doing the first two. So we need to loop through it. So the area, the like a working sum of the area. A running sum. There we go. So rectangles is a dictionary. And for the keys within the dictionary, which are the height in this case and width, we want the value of height and the value of width, which in this case is 4 and 5. Multiply them together and add them into a total running sum of the area. So in the first one it's 20. But then it takes 4 times 5, which is 20, and 9 times 4, which is 36, and adds them together on a running sum. And then same thing with this last one. Yeah. Oh no. I'm a total fucking hipster, I guess. And I eat avocado toast. I like avocado toast with a couple of eggs on it, fried eggs. And I eat that for breakfast. It's fucking good. I have cholesterol, high blood pressure problems. I know the egg has cholesterol in it, but dietary cholesterol is only like a small factor in your overall cholesterol. And plus, I don't really eat that much dietary cholesterol. But regardless, I toast a piece of sourdough bread. And then I mash up half an avocado on the piece of toast. And I fry 2 eggs over easy. Because you need to have the goo of the yolk, you know what I mean? To eat with the toast. It's so fucking good. But then I put this, like, I typically put bagel seasoning over it. And I think this is a fucking sign of my old age. I definitely can't eat raw red onions anymore. Because I get, like, wicked bad heartburn. Sometimes, like, tomato sauce and shit, too. But the bagel seasoning has garlic in it. Like, not, like, small garlic pieces, like big dried pieces of garlic that I put in. I think it's giving me heartburn. I think I'm old. I think I'm old.
FizzBuzz. FizzBuzz is a commonly overused little toy program that comes up in entry-level interviews. This is a little testable spin on it. Complete the fizzbuzz function that loops over all the numbers from start to end, excluding the end value, and adds them to a list it returns. If the number is a multiple of 3, instead of appending the number, append fizz. If the number is a multiple of 5, instead append buzz. If it is a multiple of 3 and 5, then instead append fizzbuzz. For example, if start equals 1 and end equals 8, then the resulting list would contain 1, 2 fizz, 4 buzz fizz, 7. Tip: as always for the range function, the start is inclusive and the end is exclusive. Do not include the end value.
So we're keeping the end excluded, so we don't need to do end plus 1. That's what the tip is saying for the range. Alright. Complete the fizzbuzz function over all the numbers start to end, excluding end value. Oh yeah. And adds them in a list it returns. If the number is a multiple of 3, instead of appending the number, append fizz. If the number is a multiple of 5, instead append buzz. If the number is multiple of 3, 5 is fizz buzz. So we should probably do the fizz and the buzz and the fizz buzz first. So we filter out the things that we need, and then the rest will just be integers that are summed together. Because we don't want to sum the integers before we convert them into fizz or buzz, or fizz buzz. So this is a list. Equals a multiple of 3. It's modulo, isn't it? If x modulo 3 equals no remainder, then we need to convert or x equals fizz. Is that gonna work? Can I assign expression here? Maybe you want equals to equals. Yes. An object is not iterable. 1.6 module. Type error in object is not iterable. I just had this error. Int object. Is this working? For X in range of start to end. Printed a 1. Shit, sorry. Yo, bubblegum, this new flavor. I haven't had bubblegum yet. What are my other flavors? Root beer. Lemon lime and cherry. Ugh. I don't really like cherry. It tastes like medicine. Root beer is good though. It's only iterating over the first 4 values. So it's changing 1 to F, 2 to I, 3 to Z, 4 to Z. Yeah, this is like... What I want to do is like F, if modulo 3 equals 0, if modulo 3 equals 5, if modulo 15, if it's a multiple of 3 and 5, so it would be 15. Fizz, buzz, and fizz, buzz. I just have to write it. So the ifs, I think the if statement's correct. I don't think the X equals fizz buzz is right. What if I just put 100, 1000? See, that doesn't work. Fizz. Because I wanted to do it like this, right? I know this isn't the right way. I want to do it like this. Else if x modulo 5 equals 0. Oh, I have these backwards. I think I have to do the 15 first. Because the 15 is more specific. So for x in range of start to end, 1. X modulo 15. So 1 modulo 15 does not equal 0. Complete the fizzbox function, which loops over all the numbers from start to end and adds them to a list it returns. Wait, what happened on the first one? Oh, let me get rid of this else statement. Ah, shit, my mouse died. I need to get a battery. I think it's 1AA. Yo, they gotta die during this and not during the fucking Path of Exile race. I would have been pissed. How the fuck do I open this? The fuck? I don't want to break it either. Yeah, it's 1 AA. 1 AA at like a 15-degree angle. I don't know, like, we don't have any batteries. I have like a reusable battery. I guess we'll have to use it, but the problem with the fucking reusable batteries is if you don't take care of them, they lose their capacity. Like, they can't have too much juice in them. And then on the other end, if you drain them too low, it's not good for them. I think my mouse is fine at running at, like, lower voltages. So, I think it'll be fine. No, this isn't gonna work. I'm just like, ah, fuck. I'm rolling over my blanket. Now I'm rolling over it on the other side. Ugh. I think the problem is my computer mat, because it's a concrete floor, is I use like a gym mat and it's too soft. I really need like a rubber, like a farm rubber mat kind of thing. Do I just append the X list? Like that? But this is gonna... isn't this gonna fuck with the order? No attribute append. Ew. I have to make sure it's not being used as it's a list and an integer. Yeah, for the range of a list, for x in this range. Am I better off just calling it y? Yeah, I haven't wrote the... else... x equals y. Some of them are right. 1. Printed out fizz. But 1 modulo 3 isn't. Zero. So why is it going to that else if statement? So expected to actual buzz. So 2 is getting hung up in here. One is 3. Two is buzz. Three is fizz, expected fizz. 5 is buzz, expected buzz. So the fizz and the buzz are working on the multiples of 3 and 5. But then it stops. I got fizz buzz on 15. Oh no, I didn't get it. It's not iterating through all the numbers. So like for example, 1 needs to be checked if it's has a remainder divided by 15, then by 3, then by 5. And then if none of that, then x equals y. But it's triggering on the fizz logic. And the 2 is triggering on the buzz logic. Do I have to do like start, end, and then the increment of 1? Fizz buzz. Where's my start fucking up? Just start minus. Yeah, it's y equals x. An object's not attribute to append. So it's just like y dot append x. Because I'm making a list. So what was happening is that on the else statement, y equals x, but it wasn't doing anything with it. It's just saying that y equals x. So I need to append it into the list. Because what was happening is I was taking every multiple of 15 first, appending the list to say fizz buzz, then multiple of 3 to say fizz, multiple of 5 to say buzz. But then I wasn't doing anything with the integers, so I needed to append the integers in. So that's why I figured it. And then it spits out the list. So they wrote if I is modulo 3 and modulo 5, append fizzbuzz. Okay. I could have wrote it as an and statement, but I also knew that 15 is the common denominator of the and statement of those two variables or integers. It's 1, 15, 30, 60. And those would be multiples of 15. So they did their 5 before modulo 5 before mine. I don't think it matters because they're prime numbers. I think it would matter if, say, like, they wanted multiples of 6 to say buzz and multiples of 3 to say fizz. So if we got to 6, we would need to process the buzz first. So the 6 would have to come before the 3. Because we want it to happen first. So just something for me to keep in mind about order. Beep 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 beep. Don't sue me, Nintendo. Oh. Okay, cool.
List division. Write a function called divideList that takes a list and a number as input. The function returns a new list that contains all the elements of the original list except they have been divided by the second input. Divided list equals divideList 6, 8, 10, 2. Print divided list. Hack 3.0, 4.0, 5.0. Make sure you're appending the raw float values. Don't round or cast the numbers to integers.
So nums is a list and divisor is a integer. Nums is a list of integers. It's not gonna work. This object cannot be interpreted as integer. Is it just X and nums? So I'm printing 345, not the list. Oh, we have to append the new raw float values. Don't round or cast them to integers. That's what I did. Append the raw float values. Num. I think it's for num in nums. Oh, I think I might have had it before. So can I just... X is gonna come out as a integer. How did I have it before where it was working? I don't want it to print out as like a... So then append it, but it has to be... But I need it as like a percentage. Can I just do like times 1.0? Return X. An object that has no attribute append. It's a stupid thing where I keep getting the variables and the mixed up with the X. For number and numbers, y is equal to the num divided by the divisor. So the individual number divided by the divisor. Then we append X list with that y value times 1.0 so we can get it into a float or whatever. Then return the X list. Hopefully this is one of those ones where I think it might not pass the remaining tests. Oh, it did. I want to see what the solution is different. For num and nums, append the list. With a number divided by the... Oh, okay. Yeah, so I didn't have to have y. I could have put num divided by divisor in here. But I don't know why I did the times 1.0. I just did times 1.0 so I could get this float like 5.0. I don't know if that's wrong or not, but like I should not be doing that. There's more than one way to skin this cat. Logically, these are the same, but is this times 1.0 like unnecessary? Okay, it is. Nope. Because I print out 345. I'm not printing out 1.0. Let's see. I think I can ask the AI. I've noticed two potential issues with your implementation. You're using integer division with divide, which will truncate the decimal value. Oh. So if I get rid of this, I can get rid of this. Oh, shit. Okay. That's cool. I didn't know what that was doing. So essentially I was doing this, and that truncates it to an integer, and then I was converting it back to a float. Okay. Gotcha.
Join strings. Write a function called join strings that takes a list of strings and returns a single string. Concatenate the strings from the list end to end in order with a comma between them. Don't use the .join string method. Example: string list equals hello my friend. Join string equals join string string list. Print hello my friend. Tip: you don't want a comma at the beginning or the end of the final string.
Write a function join strings that takes a list of strings and returns a single string. Concatenate the strings from the list end to end in order with a comma between them. Don't use .join string method. This question's a little confusing. Okay, I see. So it's like wants hello comma world from hello world input string. Wait, so join strings is a function. So string is equal to strings length of strings. I don't think this is gonna work. List index out of range. This isn't right. So I needed to iterate over the whole list. So I needed to do, it has to be, did I just put no value? No. I needed to add all positions within the string. For length of list. Do I put a count in? Is that what it is? Well, this would be the count. Then we add one to the count each time. Count. So can I use the join function in the join strings function? So can I just like output equals dot join strings, right? And this will put comma between it. I didn't realize I could use the join function in there though. Okay, I wasn't supposed to use the join function. I think that was the point of the exercise. Let me look at this. Whoops. Join is a string. For string and strings. I'm missing half my lollipop. What the fuck? For S and strings, add S plus the string comma to join. If the length of the joined string does not equal 0, joined equals joined list minus 1 to exclude the last one. I'm gonna need to have this part explained here. Don't use the dot join method. This line would be removing the last character from the join string. This is a common approach when you're building a string with separators using a loop. Oh, so the -1 represents the last or removing the last character for that contains a space. Oh shit, okay. You'll end up with an extra comma at the end, like hello world, comma. World, comma. To fix this, you might want to check if the string isn't empty and then remove the trailing comma. Joined equals joined -1 character. So I just want to make sure that I'm correctly following this. So we have a string for join to hold our results correct. So for S and strings, we're going to do S plus comma and add it to joined. Loop through each string in the input list. For each string, add it to our result along with a comma. So that's what this line is. After each loop, if we added anything, the join string isn't empty. We remove the last character, the extra comma. Return the final join string. After the loop, excuse me, if the length of joined is greater than 0, if we add, so this means if we added anything, remove the last character, the extra comma, return it to the final join string. Okay. The key is handling the trailing comma. When we're joining strings with a separator, we need to be careful not to add a separator after the last item. One approach is to add the separator after every item, then remove the last one if necessary. And the other approach could be to handle the first item differently. If not strings, return string. Join strings 0, start with the first string. For S and string, in the first position, loop through remaining strings. Add one to join, comma, plus S, return join. That's what I think this is what I was trying to do initially, was this. But I couldn't quite figure out how to do this. I tried to start at the first the first iteration of the string. For S and strings, start at 1, loop through the remaining strings, add to joined, comma, plus this, plus S, return join. This is what I was trying to do. Okay.
The Zen of Python. Tim Peters, a longtime Pythonista, describes the guiding principles of Python in his famous short piece, The Zen of Python. Beautiful is better than ugly. Explicit is better than implicit. Simple is better than complex. Complex is better than complicated. Flat is better than nested. Sparse is better than dense. Readability counts. Special cases aren't special enough to break the rules. Although practicality beats purity, errors should never pass silently, unless explicitly silenced. In the face of ambiguity, refuse the temptation to guess. There should be one, and preferably only one, obvious way to do it. Although that way may not be obvious at first, unless you're Dutch. Now is better than never, although never is often better than right now. If the implementation is hard to explain, it's a bad idea. If the implementation is easy to explain, it may be a good idea. Namespaces are one honking great idea. Let's do more of those.
Wow, I just hammered 6 lollipops. I like this line here. Errors should never pass silently unless explicitly silenced. That's a good one. Blank is better than blank. Simple is better than complex. It's okay for special cases to break the rules. Yes? They aren't special enough to break the rules. An implementation that's easy to explain is a good idea. Always. No! Maybe? Try to memorize it. Maybe a good idea. There should be blank obvious ways to accomplish a task. 1. Which language typically allows code to be... Oop. Do we change?
Why Python? Here are some reasons we think Python is a future-proof choice for developers. Easy to read and write. Python reads like plain English. Due to its simple syntax, it's a great choice for implementing advanced concepts like AI. This is arguably Python's best feature. Popular. According to the Stack Overflow Developer Survey, Python is the 3rd most popular coding language in 2024. Free. Python, like many languages nowadays, is developed under an open-source license. It's free to install, use, and distribute. Portable. Python written for one platform will work on any other platform. Interpreted. Code can be executed as soon as it's written. Because it doesn't need to take a long time to compile like Java, C++, or Rust, releasing code to production is typically faster. Why not Python? Python might not be the best choice for a project if the code needs to run fast. Python code executes very slowly, which is why performance-critical applications like PC games aren't written in Python. The code base will become large and complex. Due to its dynamic type system, Python code can be harder to keep clean of bugs. The application needs to be distributed directly to non-technical users. They would have to install Python in order to run your code, which would be a huge inconvenience.
So the code base is probably large and complex because of the readability of it. Okay. Which language typically allows code to be released the quickest? Python. Because of the checks. The best reason to use Python is because code runs fast. False. Python 2 versus Python 3.
Python 2 versus Python 3. One thing that's important to keep in mind as you continue your Python journey is that the Python ecosystem is fragmented. Python 3 was released on December 3rd, 2008, but over a decade later, the web is still full of Python 2 dependencies, scripts, and tutorials. In this course, we used Python 3, just like any good citizen should these days. One of the most obvious breaking changes between Python 2 and 3 is the syntax for printing text to the console. Python 2, print hello world. Python 3, print hello world. Assignment. Update the code from Python 2 to Python 3 syntax.
Python 2 really needs to die already. Why won't you die?
Tell me, Mr. Bowers, do you swing?
Are you kidding, baby? I put the go in swinger, baby.
Then why don't you come right over here? Prepare to die, Bowers! Use the machine gun!
This is a Python 2, right?
Say goodbye, Powers! Use the bazooka! The ball will kill us both, Powers!
Slides her body over. She looks like the ugly Barbie now.
You can't win, Powers.
Why won't you die?
Should you use Python 2 or 3? Logo. As you've probably guessed, you should always use Python 3 going forward. Python 2 and 3 are similar, but Python 3 contains significant changes that are not backward compatible with the 2.x versions.
Python 3 is always backwards compatible with Python 2. False. You've completed Learn to Code in Python course. Oh. 10.5% students have completed this course. Cool. Claim 8,000 XP. Pew pew pew! Holy shit, that's a lot of levels. Leave feedback. What is the one thing that when reviewing solution and then trying to have Boots explain the solution, he pretends like the solution isn't on the screen, but he still reviews the solution. What am I trying to say? When reviewing the solution and then trying to have Boots explain it, he pretends like the solution isn't on the screen. He still reviews the solution though. I liked it. It was hard. Hard for me. What did I like about it? It's very packed with information. So information dense, but piecemealed. Piecemeal? Dude, you can tell my... Also, is piecemeal one word? Piecemeal. Information dense, but piecemeal enough to not get overloaded. Can I just get all of my rewards? Achievement, chest, quest, okay. I don't want to mark them all as like red. Pew pew pew. All right. Courses. Learn Linux. Let's get started. Wait, how long did the Python take? 30 hours. How many days did I stream it? 6 times roughly 4 is 24 hours plus a half a day today. So it took me about 26 hours. Yeah, that's about right. So this one's only 10 hours. 3 days, maybe.
Welcome to Learn Linux. Welcome to Learn Linux. Admittedly, the course name is a bit of a misnomer. It's called Learn Linux because Linux is what most students think of regarding the concepts in this course. A more accurate title might be Learn to use shells and terminals in a Unix-like environment. But that's a mouthful. Learning goals.
Wait, I use a lot of MS-DOS. Okay, they're not the same. They're similar text-based operating systems with similar command. Okay.
Understand the difference between a shell and a terminal. Learn how to navigate and use the file system using the command line. Learn how to install software using the command line. Understand how to manage your path and environment variables. Learn how to manage permissions and execute programs. This course will get you comfortable working on a command line, which is a skill that's going to be critical for the rest of your career as a programmer. So, instead of writing code in the browser, in this course, you'll interact with a command line interface, CLI, directly on your machine. Assignment. Find and open a terminal on your computer. See below for instructions. Type the following command and press enter. Echo Hello World. When you're done, answer the question. How to open a terminal on Mac. Open the terminal application. You can find it by searching for terminal in Spotlight, the magnifying glass in the top right corner of your screen. How to open a terminal on Windows. Open the command prompt application. You can find it by searching for command prompt in the start menu. How to open a terminal on Linux. If you're on Linux, I refuse to believe that you don't already know how.
When I click off of this, though, it's gonna... So maybe I should do... like that. How's that look? That looks good. The text Hello World is printed on the terminal's console.
Command line versus GUI.
GUI.
In other Boot.dev courses, you may have ran your code by clicking a Run button. But as a real developer, you'll likely run your code using a command line interface, CLI, instead. For example, in Python, you would run a Python code file like this, python main.py. What's a CLI? You'll often hear the terms terminal, shell, command line, CLI, and command prompt used interchangeably, but often they all refer to the same thing, a program that allows you to interact with your computer in a text-based way. What's a GUI? If you don't have a technical background, you're probably used to interacting with your phone or computer using a
GUI is graphics user interface? Is that what it is? Graphical user interface.
graphical user interface, GUI. When you use a mouse to click on fancy icons, buttons, and menus, you're using a GUI. To be fair, it's usually easier to teach people.
The words terminal, shell, command line, CLI, and command
Common
prompt
folk.
are often just thrown around haphazardly by programmers. And even though the precise definitions vary slightly, we're usually talking about a program that lets you interact with your machine through text. If you're new to the command line, you're already probably familiar with GUIs, or graphical user interfaces. And a GUI is just a fancy visual interface that lets you get stuff done on your computer. Think of a Windows desktop, for example. It has menus to sift through, icons to click on, and even complex window management systems.
Look at all that bloatware on your Windows operating system.
CLI, or command line interface, is a much simpler alternative. Instead of using complex visual buttons and menus, you interact solely through text. Want to run a program? Don't click on an icon, just type the name of the program. Want to view a file? Don't open Microsoft Word, just type a command. Now, while GUIs do have a lower barrier to entry, that is, they're often self-explanatory to use, they're also pretty limited. A command line interface is more powerful because you're not limited to the buttons and widgets that are provided by application developers. Instead, you get direct access to the lower levels of your system. As a programmer, it's non-negotiable. You need to be comfortable on a command line.
It's a non-negotiable. All right, cool.
People to use a GUI than a CLI. You can simply point to things and say click here or drag this there. But GUIs
I bricked it.
command line versus people to use a GUI than a CLI. You can simply point to things and say click here or drag this there. But GUIs do have some drawbacks. They're weak. You are given much more control over your computer through a
GUIs.
CLI. With a GUI, you're limited to the options that the
GUI.
developer of the GUI has given you. They're slow. Once you know the commands to type, it's much faster to type them than to click through endless menus with a mouse. They're not as reproducible. If you want to share a set of instructions, you can just copy and paste commands without worrying about screen sizes and user preferences. They're not automatable. It's easy to write code that manipulates text, as you've seen in Python, but it's much harder to write code that manipulates GUIs. They're not as cool. You will be invited to 90% fewer romantic outings if you are a GUI user.
What? The fuck? 90%? Joke's on you, though. 90% of 0 is still 0.
Assignment. In your terminal, run the following command. When you're done, answer the question.
Who am I? Bambino Combs. Oh yeah, the name of my computer is Bambino. Because my dog's name is Bambi. The text, a dum-dum was printed, a terminal crash, a username was printed to the console. I got an email. My username was printed to the console.
Installing Windows subsystem for Linux. You can skip this step if you're on macOS or Linux, or already have WSL2 configured. I know the course is called Learn Linux, but if you're on Mac, it's Unix-like enough for all the lessons in this course. The built-in Windows command prompt is terrible, in my opinion. It's so bad that if you're on Windows, we're just going to have you install WSL2, Windows Subsystem for Linux. This will allow you to keep using your normal Windows desktop, but also have a Linux command line, operating system, and file system for your programming work. WSL2 was a huge step forward for developers on Windows. You get a full Linux operating system and command line experience without the need to dual boot. WSL is an official Microsoft product. It won't mess up your base Windows install. You'll still be able to run Steam. Here are a couple of things to keep in mind about WSL2. There are 2 versions of WSL. We will be using the latest, version 2. The WSL2 file system is completely separate from...
1 second. I have to run this as a administrator. Dun, dun, dun.
Your Windows file system. Use your normal Windows file system normally, for games, documents, Windows apps, whatever. I recommend using the Linux file system for all your code. Assignment. Install WSL2 and Ubuntu and get the Ubuntu shell up and running. Make sure you're on Windows 10 or 11. If you are on an older version, please upgrade. Your life as a developer will not be fun if you're on an older version of
What's wrong with Windows 7?
Windows. Run Windows Update. Click on the Start menu and begin typing Windows Update. You should see a program called Windows Update Settings. Open that. Click Check for updates, and if there are...
Wow, with the update, huh? I'm gonna have to restart the computer though. Oh no, I have my email. You can email me. You're up to date. Sweet.
Any updates, install them and restart your computer as instructed by the updater. Open the Windows command prompt and install WSL. Click on the Start menu and begin typing command.exe. You should see a program called Command Prompt. Right-click on it and select Run as Administrator. Type WSL-install in the prompt and press Enter. If that comes up as invalid, use WSL install-d Ubuntu. Restart your computer. Confirm WSL is installed by running WSL-v.
Windows subsystem for Linux has no installed distributions. You can resolve this by installing distributions with the instruction below.
Command prompt. Set up the Ubuntu distro. Ubuntu is a very popular distribution, or distro, of Linux, and it was installed automatically alongside WSL. After restarting your computer in step 3, you should see an Ubuntu window open automatically once you log back in. If you don't, search for the Ubuntu program in the Start menu and launch it.
Oh my god. I have to restart the computer. Step 3 using Ubuntu. Open automatically once you log back in. If you don't, search Ubuntu program in the Start menu and launch it. Changes will not be resolved until the system is rebooted. I guess I'll be right back.